With the slight uptick of one-on-one defense, teams have started drawing up new ways to expose defenders. A scissor route, which is really just a moving pick play between two linemates, has been in our game for a while, but new flavors are popping up. And then there are plays that involve the whole 5-man unit, like we've been seeing after offensive zone faceoff wins. But how can individuals personally adjust their game to this kind of defense? Along the Ice is here to break it down. Most of ATI's tactics spawn from a mindset shift, and in this case it's no different. We believe players are too passive in man-on-man situations and should be proactively looking for and creating favorable conditions. Additionally, players should embrace one-on-one scenarios with grit, compete, and pride. This is the one-on-one mindset. With our mindset defined, let's review some examples so we can construct actionable tactics. We'll do this by highlighting a player I think embodies the one-on-one mindset maybe more than anyone in the NHL, and that's Brandon Hagel. We start with a 4-on-4 scenario in which Hagel first creates separation in order to square up his defender. By not chasing Hagel, Hayes allows him to get what he wants, which is a more favorable angle. Hagel then dishes the puck so he can have an easier time working through the bigger, sure-handed defender. And look, he's able to get separation and the puck back by mid-ice. There was always going to be a switch here, but it's how early and cleanly Hayes got beat that created the massive gap for Hagel to exploit. It was all about creating a favorable angle of attack and removing the puck from the equation. In the next clip, we see Nemestikov pursuing Hagel up the boards while the rest of the Jets play tight man-on-man up top. Most players here would feel vulnerable and would throw it back down the boards. But Hagel is confident in his abilities and feels the massive opening in the slot. He hands off the puck, attacks the middle, collects, and finishes. This play again highlights how easy it is to beat your man when you free yourself from the puck, even in quote-unquote vulnerable areas. Draw defenders to the perimeter, lull them to sleep, and then leverage the give and go as your escape hatch. Next, let's showcase Hagel's grit, which we said is a component to the one-on-one mindset. Hagel's initial pass to Kucherov springs him free, and this is where 95% of players would have called it in. But Hagel knows beating a flat-footed, backward-skating defenseman down the ice is more of a guarantee than Kucherov finishing. What we love at ATI is how Hagel gets a step on Doughty. He could have taken the wide route to avoid contact, but this would have allowed Doughty to pivot and chase. Hagel might have beaten him anyways, but it would have given Doughty a quicker understanding of his dire situation. Instead, Hagel leans into the direct lane, forcing Doughty into a blocking technique. With how interference is called, Doughty eventually has to release, so once Hagel is even, he's leaving. Here we got another example of initiating contact and another rebound goal. We pick Hagel up flat-footed 40 seconds into an already labor-intensive shift, but he sees an opportunity with the line change and has to compete to battle a fresh defenseman up the ice. At the blue, he's still a step behind, but uses the shooting obvious situation to get a step on Clevin. Hagel then takes his ice away by moving into his lane. This allows Hagel to glide in and time the play. The rebound comes out and Hagel stays compact, keeping his stick within the coverage of his frame. There's no flyby here, and he ends up needing a piece of his body for it to go in. Truly an I want it more than you play. Hagel's prettiest goal comes from this stretch pass, which Hagel segues into a glossy finish, ATI. A stretch pass from this distance is quite challenging, and Hagel knows his only chance is forcing the defender east-west. Otherwise, they can just sit back and jump the pass. It's still a tough play, but it gives Hagel a fighting chance. Nothing most NHLers wouldn't do quite yet, but watch how Hagel ever so slightly interferes with Chabot's stick. A proper stick lift and puck retrieval from a pass this fast is almost impossible, and Hagel knows this, so he just interferes with Chabot enough to hope he doesn't catch it clean. Lucky for Hagel, Chabot gets just the right amount of the puck for it to land in his lap, and now he's in alone. I mentioned luck, but in reality this is just a proper risk-reward assessment in a one-on-one situation. He gives Chabot a chance to intercept, but also gives himself a chance at a breakaway. Before we get to the final clip, I'd like to talk about our sponsor, Sport Contract. You can watch a player live all you want, but it's difficult to find patterns without filtered, uninterrupted fill. And the search query for this video was nothing complicated. All I did was search for Brandon Hagel and then output all his goals for the season via this stat link. This was enough for me to dispel an assumption and realize how much of a one-on-one master Hagel really is. For client work, we dive much deeper, but it goes to show how informative even surface-level queries are in Sport Contract.
I recommend this product for any coach, trainer, or consultant that wants to distill film faster and improve ideation. Now back to the video.
Our final example, I believe, is our most important clip for the one-on-one mindset. We don't have a great view, but we see Hagel work it up the wall as he gets bodied against the glass. Next thing you know, Hagel is on the inside, ready for this tap-in. What Hagel knows is that contact, especially along the boards, is the easiest way for defensemen to lose their positioning. Not only are the boards inherently far from the cage, but they add additional variability to contact plays, giving a slight preference to the man on the boards. Free the puck, Hagel could have made this easier on himself by avoiding the hit altogether. Maybe he was tired, or he just didn't think the defender would initiate. Either way, after contact, Hagel seizes the moment to spin off and beat Lizotte back to the slot. And look how he chicken wings Blake's right arm just enough to have him turn to the boards. Too small of a play for the ref to catch, but just enough for him to be able to coast into the danger area. And that's the one-on-one mindset from the offensive side, empowering players to expose defensive weaknesses during man-on-man situations. Player-specific tactics include: number 1, looking for give-and-goes, especially in vulnerable areas. Number 2, challenging defenders that are far from net, skating backwards, initiating contact, or unaware of the one-on-one situation. Number 3, taking away the defender's lane once they are beat. And number 4, emphasizing grit and compete more than other scenarios. If you want to think the game differently, then we want to hear from you. Contact us via alongtheice.com, where you can also learn more about our consulting services. Lastly, let us know which tactics you like best and which ones we missed. As always, thanks for watching.